Okay, so what can we look forward to? Where are we going with this? Okay, so let me just talk a little bit about the vision for the future as I see it. The first thing I want to tell you is, like the man in the Irish joke, I wouldn't start from here. Because everybody knows this joke, do they? When this man I'll tell you for those who don't know. There's a man who's lost, and he stops alone. He's lost in Ireland, and he stops this man and he says, "Excuse me, which is the way to Dublin?" And the man says, "Well, I'll tell you this, I wouldn't start from here." So, frankly, that's our situation. You wouldn't want to start from here. But unfortunately, from here, we have to start. So therefore, what is it that we want to see? What is it? Well, people often tell me when I talk about the one-state solution that quite apart from the usual, there's an immediate, knee-jerk, oh, it'll never happen, you're dreaming, it's utopian, come on, let's talk about reality, etc. Okay, quite apart from that, which I'm used to, this one is quite difficult, and I get it from fellow Palestinians, which is how can you talk about these abstractions, these academic ideas, when people are dying, as is happening in Gaza, as is happening on the West Bank. In this situation, is it actually appropriate to be talking about some utopia which nobody supports, and Israel would certainly fight tooth and nail, while it therefore taking attention away, taking the focus away from the dreadful reality of people dying under this dreadful occupation. And the argument goes, why not unify all our efforts into ending this occupation? That's enough, surely that's enough. Now, although, and I understand that, and of course I am as aware as anybody can be of how appalling the situation is, yet one has to remain cool, and one has to remember there is something beyond the occupation. In other words, supposing that the occupation ended, let's imagine something very unlikely, I think, that it ended. What then? What then? What is it we want? What do we want to see at the end? And it seems to me it's very important, A, to bear in mind that temporal relationship I'm talking about, which is that of course you do first things first, but always towards an aim, a vision that you're working towards. And I'm very fond of using the Zionist parallel here, because the reason that the Zionists succeeded was really not so much that they were so brilliant and devilishly clever and so on, but that they were clear about the end point, and therefore they used every single opportunity to make that end point happen. Even though it looked slow, even though it looked circuitous or indirect, they did it. And that's how it went. Now, of course, events helped them and so on, but it doesn't detract from the fact they were completely clear about where they wanted to get. Now, with the Palestinians, it is not like that. And may I say, with the Palestinian supporters, it's not like that. They talk in this very circumscribed way. End the occupation, let's have a Palestinian state. Well, of course, the evidence points to the contrary. In logistical and political reality tell us there is no end, there is no two-state solution in a way that would make this a durable settlement. I think is clear. So therefore, no point going on talking about a two-state solution. And the fact that one talks about one state does not negate or exclude in any way working to end the occupation or to ease life for the Palestinians. These are two distinct, or rather, these are not exclusive at all. So now let's talk about the end point briefly in the time left to me. I mean, you know the idea, of course. What I would like to see is a unitary state, which is secular, democratic, and in which people can have one person, one vote, and in which ethnicity, religion, gender, etc. plays no part. Plays no part. And I'm not interested in binationalism, which is a way of perpetuating, I think, the same divisions, because whether you have if you have a unified parliament, okay, but at the same time you have communities which will tend to protect their own interests, and then you've got another different kind of struggle. So in the end, I think there is no escape from a unitary state. And one has to say that really on realistic grounds, not on idealistic alone, on realistic grounds. Because if you look at this territory, there is no way to divide this territory equitably. There just isn't. There is no way you can divide the land equitably or the resources, because it's small and it can't be done like that. There is no way that you can actually allow the refugees home, other than through a unitary state. The refugees have to come home. Palestinians have to go home if they want to. They have to have that right. How are you going to do that? That's not going to happen in the sort of state Israel has in mind.